Good evening again, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Insight Meditation Community of Charlotte. I'm Larry Dawalt, one of your Dharma leaders. I'm glad to see you. Glad everyone is here. The title of my talk tonight is Tickled to Be Here, The Path to Gratitude. Do you have any little sayings you are noted for, or phrases, or typical responses, maybe when driving? Since you already know this is not going to be a Dharma talk on right speech, you can think of them. I remember my grandmother in Indiana would always say, "My stars," as her response of exuberance. My grandmother from Gastonia could not say goodbye without the parting words, "Take it easy." You may have gifted an employee, as some of my colleagues and I did, to a departing supervisor a few years ago with a list of isms. In her case, it was Lisa-isms, words that she said over and over. We came up with 20 of them. Yes, we were listening. Recently, I thought of some of mine, and one in particular jumped out at me. When someone asks me how I am doing, I rarely say fine. Instead, my usual response is, "Tickled to be here." And unless I haven't had much sleep the night before, I say it with a genuineness that lets the person know I am truly happy to be alive. I'm not exactly sure when I started that, but I know working over 25 years in hospice care had something to do with it. I've seen a lot. So when I express gratitude for being alive, it is not only sincere, but it's based on many experiences of being a part of too many lives gone too soon. As I reflect on the phrase "tickled to be here," I can honestly say that it really is about gratitude. I am grateful to be here, and I am grateful for many things. The Buddha teaches us to be grateful. In the Kathmandu Sutta from the Anguttara Nikaya, he teaches that being grateful is a part of integrity. Let me read it to you. "Monks, I will teach you the level of a person of no integrity and the level of a person of integrity. Listen and pay close attention. I will speak." "As you say, Lord," the monks responded. The Blessed One said, "Now what is the level of a person of no integrity? A person of no integrity is ungrateful and unthankful. This ingratitude, this lack of thankfulness, is advocated by rude people. It is entirely on the level of people of no integrity. A person of integrity is grateful and thankful. This gratitude, this thankfulness is advocated by civil people. It is entirely on the level of people of integrity." End of quote. A person of integrity, people of integrity. What does that mean? Well, by simple definition, integrity means the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. So if we think about moral principles and moral uprightness in terms of the Noble Eightfold Path, we think of right speech, right action, and right livelihood. But let's come back to grateful and thankful. What are you grateful for? And what is the path to gratitude? Practicing gratitude starts with self-gratitude. being grateful for this human life, being grateful for who we are and going beyond the things that we think define our self-worth. In her wonderful book, Start Where You Are, A Guide to Compassionate Living, Buddhist author Pema Chodron calls this our basic wealth. She writes, "We already have everything we need. There is no need for self-improvement. All these trips that we lay on ourselves, the heavy-duty fearing that we're bad and hoping that we're good, the identities that we so dearly cling to, the rage, the jealousy, and the addictions of all kinds never touch our basic wealth. They're like clouds that temporarily block the sun. But all the time, our warmth and brilliance are right here. This is who we really are. We are one blink of an eye away from being fully awake." Thank you, Pema Chodron. Another way to practice gratitude is to slow down and be more intentional. You may have heard the phrase, stop and smell the roses, but sometimes we don't even notice the roses are even there. We move so fast that being grateful becomes the last thing on our minds. Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh says, gratitude can start with the way we walk, the way we carry ourselves on the earth. He writes, "When we walk like we are rushing, we print anxiety and sorrow on the earth. We have to walk in a way that we only print peace and serenity on the earth. Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet." End of quote. Now, we don't have to exactly do walking meditation all the time, but it is helpful at times to walk with enough intentionality and awareness that we become grateful for that ability. I have a grandson, Wesley, who has taught me a lot about walking. Wesley was born prematurely, 25 weeks. He was small, 1 pound and 8 ounces to be exact. As you can imagine, the first 48 hours or so were rough. We honestly didn't know if Wesley was going to make it. He was in a place where he would get good care. He was at St. David's Hospital, just off of the campus of the University of Texas in Austin. He lived. Week after week, he began to grow. But a diagnosis of cerebral palsy a year or so later meant walking would take a long time, and that it might not happen at all. But gradually, over the next few years, his legs got stronger, and he reached a point where he could start to use a scooter, something he referred to as his hot rod. He still has it today. Now, the hot rod is a walker with 4 wheels. It has a metal steel frame. It's red. It now has lights on it for the season. And he uses it at school every day. Wesley is 7 now and has had several surgeries to try to help his core get stronger. But Wesley can't walk like you or me. One day he will. I feel confident about that. But for the time being, Master Wesley is helping me to have a gratitude for the ability to walk. I am grateful. In some ways, gratitude is about learning to appreciate the things we take for granted. Do you know someone who can't walk or talk or hear or smell? Take a deep breath and be grateful for any or all of those things that you can do. From gratitude and slowing down enough to appreciate the simple things of life, like walking, we move to a third way to walk the path of gratitude, and that is to love where you are in life right now. One of Thich Nhat Hanh's meditation phrases is present moment, wonderful moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. Try it now. In breath, present moment. Out breath, wonderful moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. This is one of the phrases that I used when I was first learning meditation. Being content with the right now. Being content with who we are right now. Buddhist monk Ajahn Brahm says we shouldn't expect who we think we might be tomorrow to keep us from being happy today. He writes, to think that you will be happy by becoming something else is delusion. Becoming something else just exchanges one form of suffering for another. But when you are content with who you are now, junior or senior, married or single, rich or poor, then you are free from suffering. You may want to consider being grateful for difficulties. Buddhist teacher and author Jack Kornfield says that it's really the difficult times that teach us the most. In an interview a few years back, he said, quote, in certain temples that I've been to, there's actually a prayer that you make asking for difficulties. May I be given the appropriate difficulties so that my heart can truly open with compassion. Imagine asking for that, end of quote. You may not want to recite that prayer, but we can learn to be grateful for the opportunity to learn from our mistakes and let them help us grow into being better people. So, why aren't we grateful all the time? What gets in the way of our being grateful? It may seem too simple, but at the root of much ungratefulness is craving, dukkha, being dissatisfied. Isn't it ironic that we spend the last Thursday of November being thankful and grateful, and the last Friday of November hurrying from store to store or website to website trying to get the best bargains on more? The Rolling Stones had it right. I can't get no satisfaction. But the Buddha had a solution for us. Slow down, stop, practice. Be still and know. Meditate to see clearly the truth of the Dharma, of things being impermanent, imperfect, and impersonal. Learn the Four Noble Truths. Walk the Noble Eightfold Path. Be grateful for the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Be grateful for every breath. Perhaps my favorite poem about gratitude is that of Mary Oliver, simply titled Gratitude. Let me share it with you. What did you notice? The dew snail, the low-flying sparrow, the bat on the wind in the dark, big-chested geese in the V of sleekest performance, the soft toad, patient in the hot sand, the sweet hungry ants, the uproar of mice in the empty house, the tame music of the cricket's body, the blouse of the goldenrod. What did you hear? The thrush greeting the morning, the little bluebirds in their hot box, the salty talk of the wren, then the deep cut of the hour of silence. When did you admire? When did you admire the oaks letting down their dark and hairy fruit? The carrot rising in its elongated waist. The onion, sheet after sheet, curved inward to the pale green wand. At the end of summer, the brassy dust, the almost liquid beauty of the flowers. Then the ferns, scrolled black by the frost. What astonished you? The swallows making their dip and turn over the water. What would you like to see again? My dog, her energy and exuberance, her willingness, her language beyond all nimbleness of tongue, her recklessness, her loyalty, her sweetness, her strong legs, her curled black lip, her snap. What was most tender? Queen Anne's lace with its parsnip root, the everlasting in its bonnets of wool, the kinks and turns of the Tupelo's body, the tall blank banks of sand, the clam clamped down. What was most wonderful? The sea and its wide shoulders, the sea and its triangles, the sea lying back on its long athlete's spine. What did you think was happening? The green beast of the hummingbird, the eye of the pond, the wet face of the lily, the bright puckered knee of the broken oak, the red tulip of the fox's mouth, the upswing, the downpour, the frayed sleeve of the first snow. So the gods shake us from our sleep. Jack Kornfield has a valuable meditation on gratitude in his book, The Wise Heart. And I want us to conclude our Dharma time with some excerpts from his work, just a short meditation. So I invite you to take a moment to get into a meditation posture. Let yourself sit quietly and at ease. Allow your body to be relaxed and open. And begin the practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year you have been cared for in your life. And let yourself begin to acknowledge all that has supported you in this care. Breathing in, breathing out. With gratitude, I remember some of the people who have blessed my life. With gratitude, I remember some of the animals who have blessed my life. With gratitude, I remember the sun, the moon, the mountains and rivers and oceans, and other beautiful scenery that has blessed my life. With gratitude, I remember the care and labor of the generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. I offer my gratitude for the measure of health I have been given. I offer my gratitude for family and friends. I offer my gratitude for this very day that I have been given and this community in which I live. I offer my gratitude for the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And I offer my gratitude for the provisions of life, a place for shelter and sleep, food and water for nourishment, the air that I breathe, and a heart of gratitude. May your gratitude increase. May you dwell in the joy of a grateful heart, awake, alive, mindful, and at peace.